Salute. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Snapzilla gorillas in the building, hitting y'all upside the head with this morning paper, right? Because that's what I do in the mornings. Hit you upside the head with this morning paper, right? And I'm not just telling you the news like some journalist or reporter, right? I always bring it back to what's most important. But good morning to Can't Guard Jay and Jennifer in the building first thing. You guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my little intro music, that I made, because, why not play some cool vibing tunes, you know what I'm saying? While I wait for people to enter, So hope you guys enjoy. I enjoy. I think it's me for sure. I think it's me. Definitely. I love jazz. I love jazz and I love hip hop. And so I created a little fusion. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, hope you guys are having a good Tuesday, a good week so far. And I hope we're ready to discuss the reality. Some realities that a lot of people aren't ready for, right? Because, a lot of people suffer from cognitive dissonance and cult of personality disorder and all these different things that keep them deluded in their statism, right? They don't understand, right, that tyranny is only, right? Tyranny can only be done to people that allow it. We allow the tyranny to occur. We allow the corruption to occur. We allow it to spread. We allow it to evolve. We allow it to take a firm hold over our lives, and it affects the entire world, right? And so I don't know why you guys' names are showing up like that. What's going on? Why am I seeing? I don't like that. Why are they doing that weird shit? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, And when it comes to this Qatar thing, there's some things we got to understand, right? Because you guys know, Hegseth let us know that Qatar will be basically staging, some of their military assets over here in the United States, right? That's what they're going to do. It is what it is, right? They're going to, I think they're sending fighter jets, or they have sent fighter jets over here. And this is pretty unprecedented, right? Because we don't have any other nation's military based in the United States. It's just something that doesn't happen. And this is happening, whether y'all like it or not, right? A lot of people are going in on Donald Trump, going in on Hegseth, the Department of, the Secretary of War, right? They're going in. But there's some things we have to understand about Qatar and our relationship with Qatar. There's some things we got to understand about it, because a lot of people apparently do not understand it. And don't forget, Israel attacked Qatar, right? They bombed Qatar, saying that they were hiding, Hamas leaders in Qatar, and they were trying to take them out, right? Israel, well, they stepped out of pocket, right? And they getting spanked right now. Carolyn Lowe, salute Carolyn. What is with these names? What's your actual name on YouTube, Carolyn? Is that Realize? Is that Realize? I don't know why they're doing that with these names. Anyway, salute to Realize in the building. Listen, Qatar got bombed by Israel. They got struck by Israel because obviously Israel is arrogant, right? Benjamin Netanyahu is arrogant, and they wanted to. It's frustrating. And my bad, guys. Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie. Oh, Conspiracy Queen. Salute to Conspiracy Queen. My bad, Queen. Salute to you. Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie for you guys. If I'm back, you guys, give me a Romeo Lima Charlie. Of course, they got it. It is what it is. But thank you. Thank you guys for letting me know I'm back in and that you guys can hear me. You remember when Donald Trump said that if anyone attacks Qatar, they're going to feel the full might of the U.S. military? Yeah, that was after Israel launched a strike against them. There's one thing we have to understand. There is a military base. The United States has a base in Qatar, the Al Udeid air base. It is the largest U.S. military installation in the Middle East, right? We have the largest military installation in the Middle East in Qatar. Qatar is a U.S. ally. It might as well be it might as well be a U.S. military base in the Middle East. That's what it might as well be. There's oil there. We have a huge base there. It might as well be a military outpost for the United States. That's what Qatar is. Qatar is basically our Puerto Rico in the Middle East. It's basically our Marshall Islands. The U.S. Yeah, we have a huge base there, and Israel took it upon themselves to attack Qatar. That's because Israel is basically playing this game where really what they want is to take over the entire Middle East. They want their empire all over the Middle East. They want to control the Middle East. They want to control the assets in regards to oil and all the other resources there. And listen, this is something that we have to understand, right? And There have been a lot of complaints lately about Qatar, not just regards to them having military assets over here, right? But, you know, people are now starting to talk about how Qatar is funding this and funding that in the United States. And it's kind of interesting because there's a lot of the Zionists that are complaining, right? Zionist shields are complaining about Qatar having some form of influence in the United States. And we have to dig deep into why Israel really has a problem with Qatar. And it's because Israel does not want any competition in regards to how they influence U.S. politics. But Qatar is a whole different beast. Qatar is a whole different beast. I mean, like I said, Qatar might as well be a U.S. military outpost in the Middle East, right? The relationship is a little different. We benefit more, the United States benefits more from our relationship with Qatar than with Israel. And that's just the bottom line to it. Israel doesn't like that. And obviously, Qatar is an Islamic nation and is an Islamic state. So you have that as well. So of course they're going to push this idea that, well, Qatar is going to come over here and then they're going to commit terrorism and all this other stuff. Only if the U.S. government allows it, y'all. The only way anyone is going to commit terrorism in the United States is if our military intelligence agencies and the federal law enforcement agencies that have a hell of a handle on surveillance. Yes, we live in a surveillance state right now. If you did not know that. We live in a surveillance state where they are stopping or are aware of so many plots of terrorism in the United States, right? So that's something we have to understand now. Qatar having a base here, well, how is that possible? Right? We have so many concerns, like, why are we allowing Qatar to have a base here? Salute to Black Spring with Autumn. Salute to you, Queen. Y'all check out Black Spring with Autumn. How is it possible? How are we letting Qatar here? How are we letting them bring military equipment and all this, and we're just letting them do this shit? Well, ask their people, ask the Qatari government why we have the largest military installation in Qatar. Why do we have a military base in South Korea? Why do we have a military base in Germany? Why do we have a military base in London, in England, or the UK? Why do we have a military base in all these different places all over the world? Why do we have a military installation in Japan? We are all over the place, right? Occupying different countries to a degree, right? With, we have these alliances and these agreements and these treaties with other countries. None of those other nations have military installations in the United States. This is all these things. How our military is all over the place in all these other countries. Basically offering some level of protection and giving us strategic positions, right? These locations, they're strategic locations, right? What it does is, not only does it offer these nations some level of protection, having our military installations there, they do joint training exercises, right? We're in South Korea, they do joint training exercises in all these other nations. It also shows the other superpowers that we're not aligned with, right? Like Russia, North Korea, China, right? It shows them that we are a threat. We're a threat, right? We can deploy and mobilize to anywhere in the world within a couple hours because of where we have these military installations. It's as simple as that. But no other nation has any military installations over here that we know of. But now Qatar's coming. What do y'all expect? See, this is something that the voters allow to happen. Let me explain. You vote for these people to act on your behalf and to make decisions. You transfer your power over to them, and collectively, as United States citizens, everyone who votes, the 160 million people, 140 million, wherever it is, right? And then whatever number of people vote every couple years for the Congress and the Senate every 6 years, and president every 4 years. When you guys go out and vote, you are transferring power to these individuals to make these types of decisions. Yes. So when they do things, well, it's because you guys gave them the power to do it. So when you ask, well, why are they letting Qatar have a military installation? Well, the idea is they want to do joint training. And I see this as, it's like a joint training. They want to, whatever it is, they want to train Qatari. The Qatari military probably wants to make themselves formidable, right? Because they were attacked for no fucking reason by Israel. So they're like, hey, man, that's your mans. That's your mans. Right? Benjamin Nosferatu's your mans. And y'all just gonna let them sit up here and bomb us like that? You know what I'm saying? Well, I see this as paying the piper. Right? So the idea is to train the Qatari military to defend themselves, right? To give them an edge, right? To give them that cutting edge military training and all that other shit, right? So that they can be, have some level of self-defense, right? Yes, we have our military installation there as well, right? But they want to be able to stand up and get it popping. Like, if somebody like Israel attacks them again, they want to be able to respond with some level of force. Now, coming over here to do that, let me tell y'all something. When I told y'all about Donald Trump talking about letting 600,000 Chinese nationals come over here to study at our universities, I told y'all that he was selling the country out. He was selling us out. Now, we've been getting sold out for decades. Donald Trump is just continuing the sale, right? Piece by piece, little by little. This is just what that is, right? But like I said, you guys, you wonder why this can happen. Well, because you guys allowed it to happen. When you vote for a representative, when you vote for a president, you're telling them, go ahead and run this thing. Go ahead and run it. You're telling them to run it. But you don't hold them accountable for their actions. Because the people that vote for Trump or support Trump, they might complain a little bit about this Qatari shit, not really understanding the relationship that we have with Qatar. You're going to complain about it, but you ain't going to do shit about it. Right? And he doesn't care because he can't serve another term anyway. He can't serve another term. In 2028, he's done. Well, 2029. In 2029, Donald Trump is done. Sports Baby says, you upset Trump got the hostages out of Gaza. Why would I be upset about that? I'm not even talking about that right now. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Israel has trained in Fort Gordon, Georgia. Well, yeah, they train there, but they don't have military assets in Fort Gordon, Georgia. They don't have. It's not a Israeli installation. It's not an IDF military installation. Yeah, they train. People come over here from other nations. They train. We go over there. We train. Why would I be upset that Trump got hostages out? Somebody asked if I'm high. Sure. Anyway, so that's what the deal is, right? Qatar is over here, right? Because, right? Hegseth and Donald Trump and all these guys. Donald Trump is an elected official. Donald Trump is an elected president. You guys put him in office. So when Donald Trump does things, he does it on your behalf. Whether you want him to do it or not, whether you like it, whether you agree with it, this is what happens when you vote for people to be in control, right? When you vote for a ruler to rule over you and to make decisions and all that stuff, this is what y'all want this. This is what y'all wanted. And listen, do I have a problem with Qatar? Do I have a problem with it? I mean, at this point, so the fuck what, right? Well, it is what it is. We have the largest military installation in Qatar. That's the largest in the Middle East. The alliance with Qatar is hellified. Yes, I voted. Yes, I want this. Too bad for you. Quit bitching. Nobody's bitching. I'm talking about how y'all are bitching, Trump supporters. Or not even just Trump supporters, voters in general. Because, like I told you guys a couple days ago, yes, hit the like button, y'all. 600 people, all y'all got to do is double tap the screen. Yes, exactly, you voted for it. Unfortunately, 2020 has stolen from Mr. T, so he'll be on the ballot for 2028. No, he can't be on the ballot. Yeah, hit the like, y'all. Where were these guys from 2020 to 2024? Which guys? You voted third party? Good for you. Yeah, even if you voted third party, you still participated, right? You still participated in the system, which gives them credibility, which gives them the power. You transferred power to them when you voted. Doesn't matter if the person you voted for or the measure you voted for passed or not. You transferred your power to them. This is why they're able to do the things they do. This is why the lobbyists can come in and be represented, right? Lobbyists for the special interest groups and the corporations. That's why they come in and they pay all this money. They give these donations. They make these promises. They give these people positions on their boards and on their, and all that type of shit. Yeah. They set them up. They set them up for life, for getting shit that they want done. Flying Guillotines 22, salute to you, bro. A straight Godzilla. Yeah, I don't know why they're showing you guys names like that, but it is what it is. Aurora's Journal says, no one is safe from his wrath, not even the cult followers. Are you referring to Trump? Someone says Z. All right, then I don't know why you're here. If you're bored, you don't have to announce yourself. You can just go on about your business. But I'm going to help you out. I'm going to make sure you can never come back and be bored again. Yes. We know you not saying nothing. Then why are you writing in my comments? Just think. Trump Bunny 24 says, just think everyone going to hell will be subjected to this type of crap for eternity. Oh, yeah? It is a freaking cult. So, Echoes of Time Lover says, Black people lack brain power. If I saw a black pilot, I would be like, I hope he's qualified. That's your man's. Yeah. The one that everybody says, oh, he never said anything racist and he never said anything. Miss me with that bullshit. Juan Lopez, why are you worried about my eye color? Why would I wear a fucking eye contacts? That's crazy. The bottom line is, this is what you guys wanted. You guys wanted Donald Trump. You guys wanted these people to be in place and have this level of power. No one should have this amount of power over any large amount of people. At 350 million people. So we don't know what's going to happen when Qatar comes over here, right? We don't know when their military comes over. We don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that it can happen and no one consulted you about it. Did Donald Trump ask you guys if it's okay if Qatar has military assets over here in this country? Someone says, Guido Horval says, learn Tunred. What is learn Tunred? What is Tunred? Is that a new word? Or are you trying to insult someone, but you can't write? It makes no sense. I don't know who you were talking to, but it's crazy when you guys try to insult people and you can't even write a proper sentence. It's kind of crazy to me, but it is what it is. Do you think anyone should have that amount of power? Someone that has that amount of power over that many people, but are heavily influenced by external forces and corporations and banks. This is what we got. This is American politics. Right? Now, Qatar was instrumental. They were part of the negotiation for the peace deal that Israel has with Hamas. So when everybody runs around, oh, no one's giving Israel any credit and all this other shit. Somebody, can you lick? They want us to lick Israel's taint because of this peace deal. Well, there were other countries involved with making this happen, including Egypt and Qatar and other nations. But when Qatari diplomats were trying to show up, they were in Egypt and they were supposed to be part of this summit that Donald Trump had in Egypt. They mysteriously were killed in a car crash. Yeah, their steering malfunctioned and they ran off the road. Germany gave Hitler that kind of power and looked at what happens in Germany. It is what it is. I mean, this is what we do. They convince you that your vote matters, right? They convince you that your vote is powerful. That's what they convince you of. They tell you your vote counts, your vote matters. You need to go out and vote. Go out in numbers. They want you to. The vote matters. Oh, it does, for sure. Someone says, give it a rest already. How about you get the fuck out of my chat and don't ever come back? Yeah, you don't have to. I don't understand. See, saying shit like that is not going to stop me from bringing this content. It is what it is. So y'all can go on about your business. Who's they? What's my point? You don't get it? If you have a problem with Qatar having a military base in the United States, well, you should look at those people that put these people in power and keep these people in power. What are you talking about? You don't get the point? You have a problem with Qatar? Look at yourself. If you went out and voted, if you support Trump, if you support anything the government is doing, if you think the government needs to exist and that it should exist, well, you need to look at yourself. You need to take accountability and ownership. If you think there's any level of corruption within government, if you think any politician or anybody like that is corrupt, and they're on the take, and they're taking money to throw us under the bus. Well, you guys put them in that position. You do it every time. That's the point. So if you have a problem with the Qatari shit, it is what it is. You got to suck it up, right? Because, and also, like I said, we have the largest military installation in the Middle East is in Qatar. Qatar is basically a U.S. military outpost. So it's not something that's out of the realm of sensibility. It's not out of the realm of logic, right? We benefit more from our relationship with Qatari than we do with our relationship from Israel. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the power brokers in the United States, right? Big oil, right? They benefit more from our relationship with Qatari than anyone benefits with any relationship with Israel. And of course, Israel's big mad, right? The Zionist, they big mad because they don't like that, right? Well, they're going to have to get over it because, yeah, the logic is suck it up. Exactly. Yeah. Y'all got a problem with it? Hey, every time y'all have a problem with a government official doing anything, well, guess what? It's only because you guys allow it. This guy over who's crying? Oh, you guys don't like the mirror, turn back on yourselves. It's not a base. They're training. Yes, it's not a base. But that's what people are saying. They are going to stage and host a military contingent in the United States. And they're going to do training and all that stuff. I said that earlier. Yes. The base is existing, and they're going to have their own military equipment right here. Yes. They're going to do training. But like I said, it's not out of the realm of logic, right? So, now, just to give some clarification, they're going to be building a, so it's not just, now, it is going to be a training facility. Qatar is building a training facility at a U.S. military base. It is what it is. They're going to be Qatari soldiers, Qatari military members on a military base at a training facility. This is what people have a problem with, right? That's what they have a problem with. This goddamn paywall. Anyway. That is just what it is, y'all. So, Qatar will build an Air Force facility at a U.S. base in Idaho. So is it a whole base? No, but they're going to have a facility in that motherfucker. Yeah. Yeah, so let's tell the whole truth. We're not just going to say, oh, they're just hosting for a train. No, they're going to have a facility. They're going to have members of their military based in Idaho at an existing U.S. military facility under our jurisdiction, right? It's going to be, they're going to allow the Qatari Emiri Air Force to build a facility at a Mountain Home Air Base in Idaho. The agreement, along with that Hegseth announced alongside Qatari Minister of Defense, will allow Qatari pilots to receive training alongside U.S. soldiers. There are no foreign military bases in the U.S., but some foreign militaries do maintain a presence for training. The Singaporean Air Force also has a presence at the Mountain Home Base. So they have, you know, Singapore has an Air Force presence at the same facility. So it's not just Qatar. So, and that's another thing. People that have a problem with Qatar, no one ever said anything about Singapore. No, y'all don't have a problem with Singapore doing the same thing? It's not a military base, right? It's not a base per se. It's a facility. They're going to have a facility at an existing base. That's what it's going to be. So, but like I said, considering the relationship that we already have with Qatar, considering the fact that we have a whole huge military installation in Qatar already, right? We have joint training exercises with other countries all over the world. This is not anything new. It's nothing new under the sun. Why does everyone have to join a cult? I have no idea. It is what I mean. Salute the Black Spring with Autumn. Salute to you, Queen. Yes, if you guys want to go cop my book, The Seeds of Dark Matter Disease, y'all can go do that on Amazon. Y'all can actually get the ebook for free if you have Kindle. So, yeah. Oh yeah, yes. California can hire illegals as cops. Yes. So this is what happens, right? A green substance says, my brother is a Marine station in Okinawa, Japan right now. There are over 30,000 Marines there. We have more bases and camps than any other country in the world. Yes. Yes. I just proved my point invalid. Trying to create fear from something that has been going on for decades. How am I creating fear? What fear did I create? I'm telling y'all, it makes logical sense for them to have an ally train and facilities within the United States. But the difference is Qatar is building a facility. Qatar's building the facility on a U.S. base. And I'm pointing out that there are people that have a problem with it. And if they have a problem with it, they need to look at themselves, because as voters and people that support these politicians, you guys, well, you transferred your power over to them. You supported them. You gave them that capability. So if you're upset with Trump, or if you're upset with Hexeth, look at yourself. Like I said, I don't have any fear of Qatar having their Air Force facility at the mountain home. It's full of asbestos. It probably is. Yeah. There's asbestos all over the place. Asbestos was used in building. It was used, in many older buildings. That's not a surprise. I've worked at schools that had asbestos in it when I was an electrician in California, and they had to do abatement and all that stuff. Yeah. It is what it is, y'all. Like I told y'all, Donald Trump said that China can send 600,000 motherfuckers over here, 600,000 Chinese nationals, to study at our universities. I told you guys about that. I told y'all. No one is concerned about it, though. No one's going to get on that. But Qatari's sending some people over here to do some training. Qatar is an ally. China is not. Do you see what I'm getting at? Qatar is a hell of an ally that the United States has. It is what it is. Yes, but see, this is what is known about China. If you are a Chinese national, by Chinese law, you are a spy. You understand that? So it doesn't matter what you go. You can be a regular motherfucker. You can never have had military training in China. If you go to another country as a Chinese national, you are required by their laws to report any information they ask you to report to them. And Donald Trump said 600,000 of them can come over here, knowing that this law is in place, knowing that this is what they do. Remember Eric Swalwell? Eric Swalwell had a Chinese spy on his staff. Why are we surprised? She's Chinese. She's a Chinese national. This is what we have going on here, y'all. Do they fund Hamas? I don't know, Phil Morick. Do they fund Hamas? Where's the proof of that? I haven't seen any proof of that. Israel claims that everybody's funding Hamas. Israel said your baby mama was funding Hamas. Hell, Israel claimed that a camera was Hamas. Israel thinks that children, 4-year-old children, are funding Hamas. Where's the proof, though? Saying blame yourself for incessant corruption and overreach of our government is crazy work. Instant block. Why the fuck are you here, idiot? You coming over my channel and telling me that you blocking me? Oh, I'm blocking your monkey ass. How about that? Yes, I'm blaming you. What did I say earlier in this live stream? I said the only way tyrants can commit tyranny is if the people they're committing tyranny against allow them to commit the tyranny, especially when you know that your government is corrupt, you know that your government is committing tyranny, yet you continue to participate in their system. You continue to try to make changes from within. You think that, oh, we gotta elect the right people. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I'm blaming you. Yes. We are responsible for transferring our power to the government. This is what we're doing when we go out and vote. When we consent to be governed, we are transferring power to them. Yes. And guess what power does? Absolute power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It is what it is. You give people that much power over you. You give 530-something people, or 538, whatever you want to say, power over 350 million people. What do you think they're going to do with that power? It is what it is, y'all. Even if they believe if they're acting with their best intentions, they could be acting with the best intentions. They could believe that they're acting on your behalf to your benefit. When they take money from APAC, when they take money from big oil, when they take money from big pharma, when they take money from the insurance companies. Yeah, you're responsible. Nincompoop. Yeah. So don't worry about blocking me, because there's no point. I don't know who you are. I don't go to your channel and watch your channel. If you have a channel, why are you blocking me for? I don't give a hot fuck. Someone says ignorant take, dude. Well, enlighten me. If I'm ignorant, enlighten me. Yeah, enlighten me. Fucking way, brother, get a job. I don't understand why you're here. Bye. You're 100% correct. That's why I don't take part in it. It is what it is. Why am I yelling? Is that what you think I'm doing? I'm projecting my voice, but you think I'm yelling. Man, you guys are sensitive as hell. Oh, why are you yelling? Later, fool. You ain't got to announce yourself. Let me help you out. You ain't never got to come back, T-Bone. You don't have to do that. Am I a Trump supporter? No, I'm not. This gay dude in the king of one-liners, angry, ignorant. I don't know why you homosexuals have to come here and announce that you're going to leave. It is what it is. I know y'all are homoerotic, and so you're concerned with my sexuality. We're not talking about sexuality in this live stream, but of course you want to take it there because you find me attractive and you want me to be gay. You're projecting. It's okay. What did my old faded shirt used to say? You know what? I don't even remember. I don't remember. It's been faded for some years. C Brown says, "Love your channel, dude, and your takes." I appreciate that. Guess what? I don't expect everybody to love my takes and appreciate what I'm saying. I don't know, Robert. I don't know what's wrong with Qatar. I don't. They're saying that Qatar funding Hamas and hiding Hamas leaders. I don't know what's wrong with Qatar. I'm talking about the people that have a problem. And speaking of that, Qatari diplomats were supposed to go to this summit and they died mysteriously in a car crash. These types of things have happened before to members of other countries that Israel didn't like. Let's just say that. It's dangerous to contend with Israel. Let's just say that. Yes. It's dangerous to try to get on Israel's bad side. Let me tell y'all something, man. The Israeli government, they have an agenda. They have the greater Israel agenda, where they want to basically have an empire or spread settlements all over the Middle East. And Bibi Nosferatu has even talked about liberating Africa. Someone says, who is they? Take a good guess. Take a guess. Right? And Israel is dangerous, y'all. Israel is dangerous. It's a small nation, but they have so much influence because they have been able to infiltrate, right? They have been able to get themselves into places, right? Influential places. They have these different organizations. They run the bank. They run a lot of the banks. They run a lot of the corporations, and so they have a lot of influence and sway, particularly over the United States. And the United States, being as powerful as it is, it's a very good thing to have for them to have. And so Qatar and Iran are in the way, right? Particularly Iran. That's why they attacked Iran to begin with. Empty promises don't last long. No, they do not. No, Africa does not need it. No, that's what I'm saying. Damn. Stray Godzilla out there snapping y'all. Salute to Queen Sister Shawa in the building this morning. Salute to you, Queen. What is my background? What do you mean, what is my background? The Bible says that Israel will be surrounded by her enemies and the Lord Jesus himself will come to defend her. Well, here's what the problem is, right? The problem with that is Israel is creating enemies for themselves, right? They are creating enemies. They are antagonizing and starting shit. They are creating enemies for themselves. See, they're trying to they're trying to force themselves into the position of these prophecies. That's what they're doing. That's what Israel's doing. And Qatar, they don't like that Qatar has this relationship with the United States. They're jealous and they don't like competition. They want to be on the top. Israel, after they were attacked, sure. After they were attacked. Who attacked first, though? Because, this has been going on for quite a while, since at least 1948. Oh, that's what's up, Queen Sister Shawa. Mountain driving, that's what's up. Salute to you. Let me ask you. Are you seeing a lot of land, a lot of empty land with no human beings occupying it? Hamas? Sure, Hamas has been attacked. Yeah, sure. But let's look at the October 7th attacks. I'm going to talk about this over and over again when you guys bring that up. My question is, did Israel know that the attack was going to happen. And if they knew that the attack was going to happen, was there a stand down order to allow it to happen so that they could do what they're doing right now? Let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell you guys something. You guys are going to be surprised by what I say. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. Let's get to 150 subscribers. No proof of that? Okay. Sure, there's no proof. I'm brave for talking about Israel and Gaza. A lot of people are talking about Israel and Gaza. And it's good. It's a good thing, guys. It's good to have these conversations, whether you agree with me or not. It's good to have these thought-provoking conversations and try to get to a common ground. Get to the common sense ground, I want to say. Common sense ground. Because Israel has one of the best spy networks in the world. Mossad has a hell of a spy network. And there is some information out there that shows that they knew that the attack was going to happen. Charlie Kirk even talked about it. And if there was a stand down order to allow October 7th to happen, then guess what? The Israeli government, was I in the room? In the room for what? Do I need to be in the room to have these conversations? No, I wasn't in the room. I don't need to be in the room. Yes, when he was right, when Charlie said, he said, when civil discourse ends, violence begins. But the problem is when you try to silence voices, that's what makes people lash out violently. But then some people are going to just lash out. Even if there is civil discourse, it can escalate to violence. So we have to have that understanding as well, right? Because people are unpredictable. They just are, right? Like if you ever see a rap battle and you got two cats in rap battles, man, they go in. They go in these rap battles. They'll talk about your mama. They'll talk about your dead child. They'll talk about all that shit. They will get mad personal. And a lot of them, they keep their composure. Okay, you talking about my child. You talking about my baby mama, whatever. You talking about my wife, my mother. Okay, I know what it is. When I hit back, I'm going to hit back 10 times harder with my words. But every now and then, somebody will get punched out. It is what it is. Some violence is necessary. It is listen, order out of chaos, right? Or chaos out of order. No matter how much order you try to force onto the world, chaos will always spring forth, right? Realize in the building, salute to you, Queen. That you have to be hardcore bootlicker to think they trained fooling hang gliders and no one knew about it. Yeah, I mean, they came in hang gliders. Can y'all listen? I just want us to think about this. Thank you, Zelda. I appreciate that. Thank you, Zelda. The bottom line is, man, that when we place so much of our power into the hands of these individuals, the few elite class individuals, when we give over ourselves to them, when we say, look, we can only function if you have this level of power, they're going to treat us like children, right? It's paternal. They have this paternalistic idea of the people they rule over. They think we're children, so they won't respect us. That's why they don't ask you guys any questions. They don't come to y'all, right? They only come to you when it's time for an election. When it's election season, they'll come and they'll talk to you. They'll have their town halls, right? They'll do all that. They'll ask you to donate and vote and all this other shit. But once they get in there, they don't really give a fuck because they're like, okay, I'm daddy now or I'm mommy. You got to do what I say. I'm going to pass this law. I'm going to try to pass this law. Whatever it is, they don't look at you as equals, right? They don't look at you as equals. They look at you as, yeah, you're my child. Yeah. Except they don't care for you like they would care for their own children. No. They look at you like somebody else's child. Yeah, you're children, but you're not my children. But y'all are children. So that's just what it is, y'all. I mean, it is what it is. So I don't know. Like I said, we have trained with other nations. Nations have trained with us. Like I said, another nation, that Asian nation, I forgot what it's called. I just read about it too. What is that? Whatever it is. It is what it is, you guys. I mean, you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. But what you can do is get another motherfucking tube of toothpaste. Right? What you can do is start to figure out, or how can we take our power back so that they don't do things like allow 600,000 Chinese nationals to come over here, allow Qatari military to come over here. Not Indonesia. It wasn't Indonesia. It's not Indonesia. It's another country. I forgot. You know, I be forgetting names. I be forgetting names sometimes. Let me see. Damn, I forgot Singapore. Yeah, they got the Singaporean Air Force. Yeah, they train in that same U.S. base in Idaho, not Nepal. Well, the Nepal might, but Qatar is actually going to build a facility so that they're probably going to have their military members stationed there, right? Because see, the way we do it in other nations is we have our own bases in other countries. Like it's the whole thing is U.S. military base, right? And so we don't have that over here, right? And we don't even have other nations' military building facilities within our bases. Vote them out. You want to vote them out? You talking about the representatives and the president? Well, who are you going to put in their place? See, okay. If voting got us in this position, if every time we vote, we're telling them, okay, you can continue to rule over us, what would be the best course of action to stop that, to prevent that from happening in the future? If voting got us in this position, if voting lets them know that we still want them to have power over us, how do we let them know we don't want them to have power over us anymore? You don't. You just stop. I know right now it doesn't seem like it makes sense, but I wouldn't even say overthrow, Christopher. No, you don't overthrow. No, you let them know, look, because we don't have to overthrow the government. We don't. We just let them know we don't need them anymore. Because see, in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about the consent of the governed. Right? Thomas Jefferson wrote that in the Declaration of Independence. It talks about the consent of the governed. So we can only be governed if we give our consent. We remove consent. We're letting them know, yeah, we don't want you to govern us anymore. We just have to stand on that. You remove your consent. How has not voting got us into this position? Navarro Craig. How did not voting get us in this position? People, hundreds of millions of people, over 100 million people go out and vote every 4 years or every 2 years. Huh? How did not voting get us in this? What are you talking about? Yes, the dirt merchant, the term limits can only be implemented by those who don't want term limits. Yes, Queen Sister Shower, opt out. Enough people opt out. Well, guess what? They have to fucking listen. Now, it goes beyond just not voting. You got to take it to the next level, and that's when they really gonna start having to listen. But yes, term limits can only be implemented by amending the Constitution. In order to amend the Constitution, you have to get it proposed and you have to get it ratified. In order to get the amendment, right? Let's say you want to add an amendment or change an amendment. You have to get a proposal, right? In order to even have it proposed, you have to have 2/3 of the state legislators or 2/3 of Congress just to get it proposed. And to get it ratified, you need 3/4 of the state legislatures and 3/4 of Congress. So that means the people you want to give term limits to, you have to convince 3/4 of them to take term limits. That means giving up power. That means limiting to the level of influence and power you're going to have. Once you get up in those halls of Congress and you're getting all day, all night, people are coming to you, asking you to, these special interest groups, the corporations, the lobbyists, and all these people, they come to you day after day or however they do it, and they offer you funding and all this other stuff. But they want you to act on their behalf. No, don't worry about your constituents. They're not going to do anything. No, we got the money. Yeah, we got the money. We got the influence. And guess what? When you get out of office, I got a nice cushy job for you. Yeah. Matter of fact, I'll hire. Oh, you got a 20-year-old son? I'll hire him. No problem. I can put him. I can give him a nice, good position. I can't put him on the board because it'll look funny, but I can give him a job. I can give him. He can be a manager. He can run this location, run that office. Sure, he'll have a $200,000 salary. This is what they do. Can y'all do that? Can y'all offer these people what they offer these Congress people? No, you can't. And this is what we got to realize. Anyway, y'all, the dirt merchant says, yep, and they won't be the ones to walk away from their lifetime power seats. Exactly. These motherfuckers be, I mean, is Nancy Pelosi still a congresswoman? I mean, she was 98 when she lost the seat, when she lost the House Speaker. This woman was in her 90s as House Speaker, third in line to be president. Third in line. I mean, come on, y'all. Anyway, y'all, thank you guys for coming through. Thank you for hitting the like button, man. Thank you if you shared and whatever. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your disagreement. If you were able to have a sensible disagreement that we could have a discussion about, it's all good. It's all gravy. Not state representatives, but by public referendum. You're advocating disbanding the republic, anarchist rule. There's no such thing. Bang switch up. There's no such thing as anarchist rule, right? That's an oxymoron. Anarchy is about anti-rulers, right? Anarchy is anti-rules, anti-ruler, not anti-rules, anti-ruler. You're advocating for disbanding the. Yes, I am advocating for that. Yes. What is the republic doing for you that people can't do for themselves? Because you know that the people that run the republic, they're just people just like you. So what makes you think they know what's better for you than you do? What makes you think that these representatives that you guys put in place and keep in place know what's best for your community than you know what's best for your community? You're wrong to give Congress and Senate term limits. They all need to write. No, they don't need. No. Nothing in the Constitution saying that there can't be term limits. But there is something in the Constitution that talks about how often they are elected, and it doesn't mention any term limits. It mentions term limits for the president. No, you cannot. It takes an amendment change, right? Because it outlines how often these elections occur. And if you want to give them term limits, you have to put it in the Constitution. That's just the bottom line to it. Yeah. Because how often they're elected and how they're elected is in the Constitution. It's in the Constitution. So you have to add that. You have to amend the Constitution, point blank and period. Just like they amended the Constitution when the Senate was created. It's the 17th Amendment. If you go look at the 17th Amendment, it talks about, it adds how senators are elected. They don't just need to write a bill. So let's say let's say all they need to do was write a bill. How come it hasn't been done yet? Because whether it's write a bill or amend the Constitution, guess what? These motherfuckers ain't gonna do that. They will still need a majority in the House and in the Senate to get something like that passed, and they won't do it. Exactly. They want to serve for as long as possible. They're not going to give themselves term limits. I don't care what they tell you. Mitch McConnell, old ass. I mean, come on. These people are having heart attacks and strokes and all. These people don't want to give that shit up. They don't want to do that. They do not want to give up what the 17th Amendment just says you need to elect senators for each state. Is that all it says? Okay. Okay. Do some reading, buddy. You guys. All right. Let's see. Let's see what it says. Okay. It just says you need to have a senator in each state. That's all it says? That's all it says? No. It says, so Session Smith 7690 says 17th Amendment just says you need to elect senators for each state. Okay, is that what it says? Okay, let's see. It says the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, elected by the people thereof for 6 years. And each senator shall have 1 vote. The electors of each state shall have qualifications requisite for the electors and the most numerous branch of state legislators. So you just said that it only says that you need to elect senators for each state. But what it also says, elected by the people thereof for 6 years. So your term is 6 years. It tells you what your term is. And each senator shall have 1 vote. So that's more. The 17th Amendment says more than you need to elect senators for each state. It says more than that. That's what it says. When vacancies happen in representation of any state in the Senate, the executive authority of each state shall issue writs of election to fill such vacancies, provided that the legislator of any state may empower the executive thereof to take temporary appointments until the people fill the vacancies by election, as the legislator may direct. This amendment shall not be construed as the effect of election or term of any senator chosen before it becomes valid as part of the Constitution. So it looks like to me it says more than you need to elect a senator for each state. It tells you for how long. It tells you who gets to vote for it. It tells you that it does not set any terms, right? It does not set. It says the amendment shall not be construed as to affect the election or term. That's what it says. So what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It says more than what you're saying it says. And you're telling me to read. Okay, Pippin. Do I support Trump? No. The first presidential term limits began in 1961 and 22nd Amendment, before there was a kind of unwritten law. Yeah, I mean, they had to amend the Constitution to set term limits for the president. Yes. You can't just... No. No, I don't support Trump. No. I don't support Trump. What? How much clearer do I have to be? No, I don't support Trump. No. Why would I do that? Why would I do that? That don't make any sense. The thing that I push for, and the thing that I support, is individual sovereignty and individual freedoms. I support that. Donald Trump is not for that. So if you have a president that does not support individual sovereignty and individual freedoms, I'm not going to support him. No, I don't support Kamala. Why is it an either or? What's with the either or fallacy? Hell no, I don't support Kamala. So what I was saying, guys, the reason I talked about the 17th Amendment is because they added that amendment to let you know how the senators or get voted for, right? How they're voted in, or how you elect senators and how long they get to sit, right? It doesn't set term limits. So if you want to set term limits, you have to amend the Constitution, right? That's just how it works. You know, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, that's just that. I mean, and you just have to amend the Constitution. It's simple. You want to put in term limits, you have to you just have to amend the Constitution. That's just how it works. Right? The election clause. This is what it is, you guys. Anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. You guys. We need a government that supports us. Well, we have to understand government is about control, right? If you're trying to control people, you can't support them. You're just trying to control them. To govern means to control, direct, right? And the problem with government is, if you put people in place to form a government to control people, then they lose sight of why they're there in the first place, because they have so much control. And then if you have these people with so much control over such a larger group of people, then you have these other external forces coming in to influence those few individuals that have that power, that government, to work on their behalf and not on behalf of the people. And they're called corporations, special interest groups, and goddamn the bankers, right? So they can't support us when so many other entities that aren't the people have so much influence. Now, Are those entities made up of people? But yes, these are the elite few that they're not in touch with you. They're not in touch with you. And so your government can't support you when they're being influenced by those types of people. Yes, get your silver and gold. I got me some silver and gold. Yes, I do. I got more silver than gold, but I got me some silver and gold. That's for damn sure. I also got some gold backs too. So I got gold backs. I got, a few bars, a few tiny bars, and I got some silver. But yeah, y'all go check that out, man. Thank you guys for coming through, though. But yes, the 17th Amendment doesn't just say you got to have a senator or what senator you got to have in each state. No, it says more than that, right? So if you want to add term limits, you have to amend the Constitution. There has to be an amendment, point blank and period. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for hitting the like button. We got up to 132 likes. I'm happy about that. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Even if you agree or don't disagree, if you don't agree or agree, you can still hit the like button. It's all good. So anyway, much love. And thank you, Realize. Thank you to my moderators for coming through. Thank you to everyone. I really appreciate that. No King's protest, good or bad. What's the end goal? My question. What is the agenda for this No King's protest? What is it? What are we trying to accomplish? Right? That's my question. So anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe, and we're going to keep marching forward toward freedom and